Pra Khun Phaen Pong Prai Goman of the Prai Tong edition from Luang Sakorn was released in the year 2556 BE, which was the final year of Luang Sakorn's life, after which he passed away. And this was one of the final 2 or 3 editions which were released that year before his passing. He managed to perform solo empowerments over this edition, which was indeed empowered in solo by Luang Sakorn, completely solo empowerment session at Wat Nong Grub. This empowerment was performed in the Ho Yan Ansaksit, the sacred yantra room inside the temple of Wat Nong Grub, and is reputably famous for those who were around on the occasion, that it was extremely powerful empowerment ceremony with a lot of Bhutanupap, worth of Buddha magical power of the Buddhas empowered into these amulets, and is a highly respected addition for this successful solo empowerment from Luang Sakorn. The Muan San used for the sacred powder in these amulets is also very highly regarded for its content, which, apart from using the famous Pong Prai Goman of Luang Sakorn inherited from his mentor Luang Pu Tim of Wat Lahan Rai, these amulets also had a large number of older famous editions of other amulets from Luang Sakorn and from Luang Pu Tim mixed inside them in the sacred powder mixture, including some which I can list, such as the Luk Om Pong Prai Goman and the Pra Khun Phaen, both first editions of the year 2530, and of the second edition of special models from the year 2543 BE from Luang Sakorn were mixed into the Muan San powders, along with many Pra Khun Phaen Plai Ku from Luang Pu Gel of Wat Lahan Rai and Pong Jindamani from the South Thailand tradition, from many famous masters of the South, and also some Khun Phaen Dan Tai Lang Yan Khao Ha from the Pitilak Muang in Nakhon Si Thammarat in 2497 BE, which is a truly sacred and ancient amulet, were all mixed in to the Muan San powders, and also the famous Namanu Meorakan Piti Samnak Khao O, which is the famous Namanu Kinnom Mel, mouse drinking milk from a cat's teat, sacred prai oils mixed in, which is of course from the Tamnak Tak Sila Khao O, from the famous great late master Ajarn Chum Chai Kiri, which also comes from the beginning of the 25th Buddhist century, so also about 60 years old, this very famous and most powerful miraculous prai oil, which was also mixed into Luang Sakorn's Khun Phaen Prai Goman Prai Tong edition. There were also some Prat Somdet 12 Nakasat, the Prat Somdet of 12 kings from Luang Pu Rum of Wat Jukacher, also mixed in, and Prat Pitta Luang Pu Hieng from Wat Pa were also mixed in, some of his amulets. Further amulets also broken down into the sacred powders of the Prat Khun Phaen Prai Goman Run Prai Tong edition is the Prat Pong Jan Loi from Wat Pa Win, the Prat Pong Kong Kwan of Wat Bak Nam, which is in itself an extremely expensive, famous and rare edition, was also broken into the sacred powders, and also amulets from Wat Got Jan and the famous Prat Bilan amulet, Somdet Bilan from Somdet Do, which is also broken into the Muon San powders. Also, many Prat Somdet amulets from the great Luang Pu Nak of Wat Rakang and Prat Somdet Run Loi Pi, the 100th centenary Wat Rakang Prat Somdet edition amulets, which are extremely famous and rare, were also mixed in. Pra Khun Phaen from Kruba Janta, who is an extremely revered great master of olden times, and the Prat Pong Jindamani from Luang Po Perm of Wat Klang Pan Keo were also mixed in, making the Muon San powders of this particular edition extremely rich in content, with sacred amulets from some of the greatest masters and temples of Thai history contained within the Muon San. In addition to all of these famous amulets, the sacred powders also contain, of course, very many kinds of Pong Wan herbal powders, Pong Putakun with sacred yantra chalk powders, and Tat, meaning elemental substances and relics from Buddhist places, shrines, and also sacred magical substances. Some of the ingredients include Paya Wan Dok Tong, golden flower herb, Wan Sabu Luat, which is a bloody pink coloured sacred herb, Wan Prai Tong, which is used in the making of Pra Khun Phaen and necromantic amulets, and is very powerful Mahasane, Wan Sane Jan Kao, and Wan Sane Jan Dang, red moonflower herb and white moonflower herb, Wan Guman Tong herb, Pong Batamang, Pong Itije, which are sacred powders made through the inscription of yantra, Pong Tu Black Muang, powders of incense sticks from the central pillar of the city to increase the power of the deities who will be invoked to empower the amulet. And this came from the incense sticks from the San Lak Muang, the central pillar, which is the heart of the city of Nakhon Si Thammarat in the south of Thailand, which is seen to be one of the most powerful and oldest Brahman ritually inserted central pillars of the cities of Thailand, and is of course the best known of all, and is also the heart of the kingdom of Jatukham Ramatep, which is a very famous amulet for those who rever it, and all those who rever it know of the pillar at the San Lak Muang in Nakhon Si Thammarat. So this is where the sacred incense sticks and the powders from those incenses were taken to be mixed into the Pra Khun Phaen, Prai Tong, and Pa Sakorn. Also, various powdered forms of leg lai from sacred caves were mixed in, and Khao San Hin Pan Pi, which means rice grains that have petrified to stone over thousands of years, and also then a full ceremony of invocation and solo empowerment through Luang Po to empower all of these Muon San substances before mixing them in with the amulets for their final empowerment, which, as I already said, was performed in the Ho Payan Saksit, the sacred yantra room. And Luang Po gave one of his most highest efforts and powerful jhanic empowerments to this edition, even though he was already in a wheelchair in this last year of his life. He would still go in his wheelchair to empower the amulets, even with a tube into his nasal orifice to help him breathe, and he would sit for long periods to empower the amulets with all his might, as if he knew that his time was getting shorter and that he wanted to give these last editions his utmost power as a last farewell. This edition is also special in the sense that Luang Por had the design changed from what is the usual Pim model of the Pra Khun Phaen Pong Prai Guman, and asked for it to be more decorative and to try and advance the design into a more beautiful form and for it to develop into a new shape. And so this was the first and only edition which is completely different in shape and form and design from the classic Pra Khun Phaen Pong Prai Guman from Luang Por Sakorn and Luang Pu Tim, which is and was intentional with the making of this edition. He used the same artisan who designed the Pra Khun Phaen Yod Pon from first edition, and who had also designed many Hanuman amulets for Luang Por and many other famous masters. And the result was pleasing to everybody, with a very beautiful Buddha image sat in meditation position, surrounded by a crystalline arch with the kata Arahang Natma A'u on the front face. The whole edition was a charitable, meritorious act of metta from Luang Por Sakorn, because its making came from the request of Pra Khun Suntaratam Pilat, who was the abbot of the municipality of Lahan Rai and of Tambon Nong Rai, and is also the abbot of the temple of Wat Ma Mui in Rayong, who begged Luang Por Sakorn to help to create a series of amulets to raise funds for the building of the kitchen rooms in the temple of Wat Ma Mui, so that the lay visitors and the ordained residents could have enough facilities and be able to receive practitioners at the temple as well, to be able to feed them and have a kitchen for this purpose. Of these Khun Phaen amulets, there were made in two different sizes, Pim Yai and Pim Lek, and in 6 different major models, with some also secret special models not officially released. Officially, there was, of course, the Pim Yai and Pim Lek in Nea Pong Prai Guman Gamagan with Ploy Sek gems sprinkled in the rear, and gold takrut, of which only 299 were made in Pim Lek and Pim Yai. There was also then the Pra Khun Phaen Pong Prai Guman in Wan Plai Dam in black Plai Dam powders with takrut ngan silver takrut, of which only 1,999 were made in Pim Yai and Pim Lek. There was also then the Pra Khun Phaen Pong Prai Guman Prai Tong in Nua Wan Sabu Luat in bloody red pinkish powders with takrut Tong Dang, copper takrut, and also Ploy Sek gems sprinkled in. There was also then the Pra Khun Phaen Prai Guman Prai Tong from Nua Wan Dog Tong, which has no takrut but with some Ploy Sek and is a yellowish white in color. And then have also Pra Khun Phaen Pong Prai Guman with a metallic insert in the back. And lastly, the Pra Khun Phaen Pong Prai Guman Prai Tong in Pong Putakun with Prai Guman powders, of which only 1,000 were made. The Pra Khun Phaen Pong Prai Man, which had the metallic amulet insert in the rear face, made also in Wan Dok Tong with Ploy Seg, had only 299 made. And the normal Pra Khun Phaen with dog tongue powders and notekrud had 9,999 made.